right, thanks everybody for joining us. Welcome to another Angel Space. I'm your host, A, and we are the DeFi Angels. With me is Susie. Hi, Susie.
Hey.
Susie is monitoring chat. If you would like to request to speak, please do so, and Susie will let folks in as we have space. We have a pretty full lineup tonight. And I also want to recognize Kay. If you don't know who Kay is, you've probably been living under a rock, but Kay is our Director of Business Relations. She doesn't sleep and she plays a huge role in putting together these spaces. So thank you always, Kay.
Thank you.
If you haven't heard the DeFi Angels, we are an investment community in the DeFi sector. Our work and passion includes our four pillars: smart capital, which is investing and building value into various projects; our Women's Investment Network, or WIN, a safe space where women can learn and earn. We prioritize social equity, increasing access to the crypto space, as well as advocacy through our partnerships and collaborations. You may be familiar with our Telegram groups, which include our Deal Flow Shill Space, our Discovery channel where we expose scams, as well as our aforementioned women's group. And our partnerships blend the work that DeFi Angels are known for with other companies that include crypto mining and crypto tax services, as well as crypto IRAs. You can go to defiangels.com to learn more, and please follow us on Twitter as our reach continues to expand. So the ground rules here are really basic. Please respect us and each other. One person talks at a time. We try to keep these spaces to an hour or a little over an hour. And if we have some openings and a time, we will try to get folks up to chat. So if you are listening, like I said, you can raise your hand to speak. And if we have some space, we'll let you in. And tonight we have some awesome projects today here as our guests, and we really do have a full lineup. So please introduce yourselves and your projects briefly. We'll start with Shuna.
It's a message.
Introduce yourself and your project.
Oh, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm the Shuna Dev. I go by Shuna Dev or Mike. We are an NFT project that specializes in many utilities, stickable NFTs, a swap. We have something with Detective Shuna where people can check on projects before investing to making sure it's a safe project. We have other utilities in our platform like Shuna Synergy, which is a launchpad where we launch projects on it. We've already launched one project, and there's another one going to be launching sometime next month. And we specialize in staking NFTs pretty much. We are an ETH reflection token, so we give out ETH reflections instead of token reflections. Yeah, that's what I have.
Great, thank you. Next, welcome Kango.
Hey guys, I guess I will start. My name is Dogan. I was invited graciously to be part of this talk tonight. I only do have a few minutes. I'm not the dev of the project. The dev of the project is Anon, as far as we all are aware. I have heard from the beginning of Kango's life that the dev is a well-known Safu dev in the space who's still Anon to this point. So far, all the actions we've seen with respect to buybacks and communication with the community have been super positive and supportive of the project. So I'm glad to be here as a early investor. Haven't sold a token. I see a big potential in this unique project. I see that Axe is on here too. I see a couple other community members like Fibonacci and Crypto Degen that are in this space. I've got a kids play to go to, unfortunately, in the next 2 minutes. I was hoping to get in as quick as I could, so maybe I'll just give you guys my take as long as I'm here. The Kango project, the Kango token is unique from my perspective in that it seems to have been set up by a dev for the community to take a very active role in. And I know that many projects we come across say it's all about community, it's all about community. But as X might be able to expand upon, we've seen in the, I don't know if it's been 2 weeks or so in this short life of the project where the communities really come together, even started a website and exploring logos. Another unique aspect of the project is that launched without a logo and without a website. The way I understood that when I saw it and why I thought that was exciting is earlier in the same week, I was rugged by 3 different projects that had some of the most beautiful websites and logos come across. and it became clear to me that a really good project is much more than a clean logo and a website. It's really vibe in the spirit of the project, the community coming together. There's a lot of incredible people that I've worked with, like Axe, on other projects in either advisory positions or just as community investors that have been attracted to this project since the beginning. And a lot of those people are still on board. So I'm excited to see where the community can take this. In conjunction with the dev team that is behind this, through the little bit of communication we get through Twitter, through messages within the Telegram, and some of the groups the community is set up within the Telegram. So I guess that's my take. I wish I could be on board for more discussion and sharing questions, but I know that Axe is going to do a better job than I can at that anyway.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the time you are giving us. And X, please introduce yourself as well.
Absolutely, my pleasure to be here, and thank you, Dogan, for that gracious introduction. I know that you're with your kids right now, and that's definitely more important than some crypto stuff that we do. But Dogan's been a phenomenal supporter. With Kango, there's this group called the Bungee, and it's, as Dogan was saying, it's one of those, very eerie but like very unique community projects where your attention's drawn into. And like I myself, like, I've been in the crypto space for close to 5 years now. I do crypto full time for 2 years, and a lot of my background primarily stems from the DeFi space, but I run a few in real life businesses as well. And then with this Kango project, it was just such a weird coincidence where I was put into a chat, and then all of a sudden I'm surrounded by all these super smart, super intelligent people, and nobody knows what's going on other than the dev, who goes by Uncle, who is essentially dropping a lot of alpha in very cryptic tweets, and just kind of like, half the time we're trying to decipher exactly what the tweets are. We're just trying to figure things out. And I remember just being invited, and being in the chat with the bungees for a few days, and I took it upon myself to put together bit of a proposal, and I sent the main dev, Uncle, the proposal with a name for the website, and a vision and a story. And in less than like 12 hours, I remember going back and seeing if that domain was taken, and he ended up buying it. So that was like our first indication of like, okay, this dev is really trying to make something unique here, where he wants this project to be fully run by the community, and for the community. And something like this has, I don't think it's been done in the crypto space before, where a bunch of people were just put into a room, and they're just left to figure things out, like almost like a real life tribe/nation stranded on an island. And that's when we decided to take it upon ourselves, like the community, like the bungees. We just put our money in together, and everyone just kind of decided to spend their own money without any expectation of getting a reimbursement. We got a website up, we got some content made, and now we're working on potentially, getting some graphics made for a future NFT collection. And then throughout all this, the dev just kept doing these very insane buybacks, just because the contract in itself was extremely well thought out and extremely well made, in the sense that our market cap to liquidity ratio is close to 40 to 50%, which is unheard of for a brand new project. So you can tell that the people behind this project are a bunch of very smart, intelligent people that are really putting in time and effort to try to create something, and they're really building this for the whales, because everybody knows that liquidity is the name of the game in crypto. Like, you want to have enough liquidity so you can exit in and out of your positions. So just being here with these amazing group of people that we're with, and now what's happening is, as more and more time passes, the dev is starting to communicate with us more and more. And then he ended up messaging me personally, just giving me some very positive words of encouragement, saying to keep doing what I'm doing. And then he's being active more in our chat. So literally within the first week, the community themselves, like, we built a website, we got some videos made, we organized a mod chat, we now have a marketing chat, and like, it's just all organically being done, and no one's being forced to be here. And I myself personally, I'm just very intrigued as to where this is going to go. And because the communication with the dev is just getting more and more and more, like, I'm now just drawn into this weird energy of what is a very, very unique project in the space, especially considering that it was launched at one of the worst times in crypto, with the depegging of USDT and this whole Luna fiasco. And the fact that the dev decided to launch this and make a community out of it has just been absolutely phenomenal. So I'm sort of very happy to be here. Very happy to be with the people in the Bungie, and of course Dogan, who got me on board. And we're hoping to just continue to put in our resources and our brain power together. And I know that Dev is going to definitely make an appearance very soon, because there's no reason why he wouldn't, because he is watching us, he's responding, even though his communication has been a little cryptic. He's very present. He even ended up reimbursing all of our community members with any expenses that we used to fund. So I got reimbursed for the website, we got reimbursed for some of the content. I know that Dogan was reimbursed as well, and then a bunch of other other community members. We had a bot attack. We had to pay someone to take care of that. That amount got reimbursed. So the powers behind this contract, like, they're really here to build something unique in the space. And I'm just happy to be here and see where this goes. And that's sort of what led us to DeFi Angels with Kane in April.
Thank you. And we'll get more into depth on a lot of the other projects. I know you guys kind of raised a few points that I do want to kind of get into with everybody here tonight. So moving on with introductions, we also have Magic School Bus here. Welcome.
Oh, hello. Good evening, everybody. My name's Moby. I'm a lead dev here with Magic School Bus. And Magic School Bus was built on the Binance chain. So it's a BSC token. And a little bit of background behind MSB. So back in December, Magic School Bus launched originally under a different dev and a different group of people. And those devs ended up rugging the project. There was a big group of V1 and V2 holders that were left with our hands basically held out, still wondering what just happened. So we ended up talking in December, and we got the devs to hand over the contract. So we recoded them, and then recovered some of the liquidity there that they ended up taking. And we finally just got relaunched about 2 weeks ago, or just last week. So there was a lot of V1 and V2 holders that we were still trying to shuffle through right now and getting airdrops out to them. But we just launched last week. And as far as our community, it's a very organic community. A lot of us have known each other for months. And then some of us have been in other private chats and traded for, over a year and stuff together. So that's when a group of us decided, hey, let's go ahead and step in. Let's try and recover this project. And because what it is, it's a decentralized education platform. And so basically, we're going to create a platform in which people will be able to log in, have different server names. They can come in and learn different areas of crypto, basically. Because a lot of the people we work with in the outside world, we're in communications with schools and education administrators, in which they need help coming into crypto. They don't know how to do it. They want to be in it. So we decided, okay, let's step up. We have the connections where we can help facilitate that. So in the long run, like, MSB will have a whole ecosystem attached to it. It'll have a launch pad in which will help them facilitate each school and the colleges and bring them in one by one with their own token structures. And then there's a couple other partnerships we're working with in different areas of the United States, some cities and stuff, in which we like to be able to get some education courses in some of the larger businesses. So right now we have one planned out of North Carolina, in which we're going to start doing twice a month. And that's just basically, it's an intro course. We wrote up a 26-page intro on how crypto works, what it is, and all that. So that we're going to be putting into place here in the next couple of weeks. But overall, MSB, it's a very organic community. A lot of us, like I said, we've been together a long time. So as far as marketing and everything else, we'll just grow it, each new investor one by one. And as we grow larger and larger market caps, we'll go ahead and use a lot of that funds to help facilitate that. And we'll end up getting properties out of Sandbox, because a lot of us are into metaverse and already have properties with other projects we work with. So we want to also incorporate that with MSB. But basically, we want to have education be open access to everybody, not just crypto. This is going to go like a longer, deep down the road for math, science, history. And that's just a matter of working with different professors and different teachers and instructors who have those certifications, and bringing the courses and literature onto blockchain. So, we're proud of what we're doing. It's not going to be an easy road. We know it's going to be years in the making to get us where we want to be. And we have a real strong team. So we're gonna keep working hard every day. A lot of the information is tagged off of my profile. If anybody has any questions or wants to know, I've known Kay now for quite a few months, and we've talked a lot. And she asked me to come on this evening, so I wanted to also thank her for giving us the opportunity to be able to come and talk to everybody and let everybody know what we're doing and how we're helping the space grow. So yeah, with that being said, I'll turn it over and let anybody else who wants to speak go ahead and speak also.
Thank you for that, and I think you might be one of the first BSC projects that we've had as a guest on these. So
Yeah,
I'm happy to bring that into this space too, because unfortunately on BSC it seems like they're few and far between.
yeah, we like Ethereum too. Like MSB is actually it's a sister project to one of our other larger projects, which is Ozone, and that's Bitcoin mining facilities, with like solar farms and Bitcoin miners. So MSB falls into an ecosystem like right there. Also, it's MSB is not one of our first projects that we've worked on. So we have some experience and a lot of connections in the space. And as long as our community we keep growing and stay active together, then we have no doubt we'll be at larger market caps and work our way up to top 100 cryptos. And like we believe in security and people having a safe trading asset. It doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin or ETH or MSB or Ozone or BNB. It doesn't matter. We want people to be able to feel safe and they can come in and trade those assets and not have to worry about, oh, am I going to wake up tomorrow morning? My funds will be gone. So that's something we stand by a lot. All of our contracts are open and public. Anybody can see anything that goes on with them, follow dev wallets, anything like that. So that's the big thing we like working on is transparency and keeping everybody informed.
So important and so rare, unfortunately. But thank you. Thanks again.
Yes.
So just moving on through the rest of our guests here. Welcome to MetaGochi.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. So my name is Dave, also known as Holder Holds. I'm not a developer of the project, but I'm a very active community member. I've actually kind of become a community YouTuber, which is kind of neat. I loved Tamagotchis growing up, and I love the metaverse, and the MetaGochi project takes the love of the two and is combining them to create a play-to-earn NFT-based metaverse game on the Ethereum blockchain. Um, Players of the game will be able to collect both tokens and eggs, which can then be hatched into one of 10 different NFT creatures. These creatures have 4 stages of evolution and different levels of rarity, which is pretty neat. To evolve your creatures, you're going to be playing these training games, which will be released at some point, and then you'll be able to compete in a monthly Gotchi Games event. It's an Olympic-style type game. Don't have a lot of information on yet, but more info is to come. And the development team it's a passion project for them, and I really loved Tamagotchis growing up, like I said. So I felt this is my opportunity to really contribute to the crypto space. Yeah, so that's the MetaGochi project, and they have a whole lot of things that are in development. They're going to be having land sales as well, which I'll kind of announce a bit more about that later on. But yeah, it's a NFT-based metaverse game on Ethereum, and it's going to be a really cool game. I'm a big gamer, so I'm pretty excited to play and promote the project and just try to do my part as a community member.
Thank you, Holder. I'm loving the diversity of projects that we have on tonight. So last, certainly not least, please welcome ShibaDogePredator. Please introduce yourselves and your project.
Hey, I'm Jake. I'm representing ShibaDogePredator tonight, the head developer. Crypto D unfortunately couldn't make it because he was busy with his kids at Disneyland. He didn't get back to the hotel room in time. And we have Drip in here too. And we have Crypto Lion and Nadeem, which are also part of ShibaDogePredator down in the audience listening. But ShibaDogePredator was stealth launched last Wednesday around 4 a.m. in the morning. 100% fair launch. No team tokens. We had to buy in to at launch, and we did not buy in right away either. We actually got in kind of late. It's a token for the people, by the people. We have a vision and we have a mission behind the token. And the coolest thing about this token is Usually, most tokens, when they burn tokens, it goes to a dead wallet and they're still on the blockchain. One thing about ShibaDogePredator is we're 100% deflationary token. We started out with a 5 quadrillion supply, and if you look at eScan, we're down to 4 quad 800 trillion. So we've actually burned over 2% of the supply, which actually brings value to the market cap and actually value to the holders because your percentage of holding goes up each time that we burn. When we burn, though, it goes completely off the blockchain. So they're gone. They're eliminated from the supply and they're never coming back, which adds value to us, makes us a deflationary asset. And that's one of the coolest things. uh, I feel like it's a utility in itself. We're a deflationary asset. We're a decentralized currency and a deflationary asset. And I'll let Drip come up and speak more about the vision and more in detail about the project. But we do have a 3% tax, 3 in and 3 out. And we've also spent money out of our pockets to buy tokens too. And we plan on doing a massive burns in the future. That way we can deflate our supply of the token. And hopefully, for the longevity of the project, it'll pay off and make a lot of people financially free in this world because we really do care about humanity. And this space has gotten pretty ugly with people rugging and this and that. We really want to bring something good back to the people, and we really want to reward them in the long run and give them financial freedom in life and just freedoms and just money to do what they've always dreamed of doing in life. And that's part of our vision and mission. But I'll let Drip touch on it more. If you want to go ahead and unmute your mic, Drip.
Sure, man. Thank you, Jake. I'll be less long-winded, if you will, and kind of to the point. So, the project was put together, just like Jake was saying, for the people, essentially as, with conviction that we have, and many of the community members that, we have now, and we hope to continue building, have this similar or same conviction, which is to fight for the preservation of what the core values around crypto had always been, right? What it started as, to go back to the roots. We feel like a lot has changed, especially since last year into this year, where the culture, the way of doing crypto has changed. It's become a rotation society, a lot of pump and dumps going on, quick cash grabs. But we want to bring back the ideas and values behind meme projects similar to Shiba and Doge. That's kind of why we adopted those names, is to carry out that legacy forward, because we feel if we don't do that, similar to what Doge and Axe were kind of touching on as far as what a community-based project means, if we don't do that, we could jeopardize having any of those opportunities in the future. We can just lose it. It would disappear if we don't fight for that. And I really do believe that crypto was made so that the everyday person can make money in their shirt and boxers or in their sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on, making that money, right? And so that's the right to the point message of what ShibaDogePredator is really about. Do we have access to resources and exceptional developers who can build dApps and utilities? Of course, we wouldn't put a project if we didn't. But we want to start at the core. And if we build a nice community who comes together in agreement for a common goal, and we put that goal out there, we say 1 billion market cap. It's a huge goal. But if we start here with that same goal, that we know it's a long road ahead, we're going to build long-term thinkers in a diamond-handed community to see that happen. Historically, that's how it's happened. Historically, any meme project that has seen a billion or any type of success is because enough people came together and agreed and said, this is the place where I want to see life-changing money, right? So that's what we did. We created the stage for that. So that's my 2 cents.
Thanks, Drip. Also like to touch on one more thing. This this project, the contract behind it's one of a kind, very unique. Like I said, we have a lot of things in there. It's kind of long too if you go on eScan and look at it. But the thing I love the most about it is the deflationary aspect. I know if you look at Shiba Inu, they did Vitalik did send 40% or 50% of the supply to the dead wallet, but those tokens are still on the chain. If Shiba Inu would have burned, if you would have burned those tokens completely off the blockchain, making it a deflationary asset at that time, those early holders in SHIB, say you would have held a 0.4% bag of the total supply, when he would have burned your bag, instead of being 0.4%, it'd be 0.8%. So you would actually be doubled in the reward in the long run from holding the project. And it's just a very cool aspect of the project. You don't see very many meme tokens with that out the gate. The team buying back percentages of tokens and deleting them off the blockchain. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And for anyone who has just joined us, our guests include Shuna, Kango, Magic School Bus, MetaGochi, and ShibaDogePredator. Um, if you are listening and you are part of one of these communities or any other community, please feel free to share this space so folks can join and listen in. One of the real benefits and feedback that we've gotten as we've been doing these Twitter spaces is that even the folks from the projects are really enjoying kind of hearing about what other projects are doing, and starting to develop relationships with other projects, which for us is one of the kind of coolest things happening in this space now, especially when legitimate projects are collaborating. So I know a few folks have gotten a little more deeply into their project than others. So I just wanted to give another opportunity for anybody that hasn't um, been able to say everything they wanted to say about their project. Just another shot to talk a little bit more about their projects. And this is kind of just open forum for our guests.
I can go if anyone doesn't have anything.
Yep, go ahead.
When we launched Shuna at the beginning, it was during November, I guess. Like we launched it based off of a coin that I was personally invested in. That rug, I was invested pretty big in it, and they had a very good utility and a very good team behind it. And they pretty much on the day of their event, and I think a lot of people got rugged off of it. On the day of their big announcement, they pretty much just pulled liquidity, and I think they ran off with like $3 or $5 million. So when we launched the Shuna community or the Shuna project, we wanted to make sure that it fits all of the needs where it's a community-based project where anyone can have a say in the community and express, changes or things that they want in the project. Now, we are an ETH reflection token, so I don't think I've seen that many projects that come out as ETH reflection tokens, but it's something where we can have our holders earn passive income for just holding their tokens. So as an investor, when you invest, you always want to think of passive income. And when you're thinking about passive income, when you buy into Shuna and you're holding these Shuna tokens, and you pretty much don't have to ever sell it because with the value, you pretty much build your revenue back just for holding the tokens itself. So this is something we wanted it to be, where people can buy in and get passive income for holding their tokens. That's all I had to say, Kay. Thank you.
Thank you. This is A speaking, actually. I do see Kay came up. Kay, did you want to say anything?
You had to hop off real quick and then jump back in because my audio, I wasn't hearing audio.
Oh,
I couldn't, yeah, so that's why. But yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
got you. Did any of the other projects want to have any follow-up?
Yes, I got one thing I would like to touch on. Also, if you look, we burnt over 2% of the supply off the blockchain. And when we hit a $1 million market cap, we plan to do a massive buy and a massive burn, probably over 2 or 3 or 4% off the blockchain. And we're going to continue to do that along the road as the market cap grows. We're going to continue to deflate our token until one day where we finally build up enough money from the tax. We actually will turn the tax to zero, and that money will be there to last for the longevity of the project, so we can continue to deflate our token for years to come. Just a pretty big upcoming catalyst for us that we plan on doing.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other comments about your projects?
Yeah, if I could just for a sec.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I left out that the MetaGochi project, it's been around since December, so it's been around for about 6 months, and it's still a very small market cap, which is great for new investors. And I just wanted to touch base about staking. So you can currently buy your eggs that you can evolve into the creatures for 0.05 ETH, or you can stake tokens to earn eggs weekly for free, which is pretty neat. So you don't have to sink a ton of money purchasing your creatures, which is awesome. And I just wanted to point out that one of the people that are listening in, you can see Donkey, and there's like a little camo dragon looking thing. That's one of the creatures. It's one of the dragons, which is one of the creatures, which is my favorite creature actually. And this is an epic. Is that a baby? I think that's a baby creature. So there's hatchlings, babies, adolescents, and adults. So I just wanted to point that out so you guys can take a look at what some of the creatures look like. And that's all I have to say, really. Thanks.
Just doing a quick mic check. My internet's being a little ruggy.
Oh, so yep, we can hear you just fine.
Perfect. Yeah, no, just to add to what everyone was saying, what really makes, Kango unique is the fact that our liquidity to market cap ratio is extremely high. And this is really good for the tokenomics simply because it doesn't impact it doesn't impact the chart when you have any aggressive sells. So we get to maintain a very high floor. And then the other cool thing about the contract is that this is the first contract that I've personally worked on where 50% of the marketing funds get reinjected back into liquidity, which is massive. Like you will see a few tokens out there that are in the multi-millions that have the exact same liquidity ratio that the exact same liquidity dollar amount that we do. And this is sort of, I think, one of the main reasons why there's a really strong emphasis on community here, because you don't get to see too many tokens launch, with this much liquidity that encourages trading volume. And this in itself is a huge plus, because especially in a market like this where you do have a lot of projects that are rugging all the time, and that just don't have exit liquidity if you needed to. You don't really have that problem with Kango. So like I'm in the firm belief that we're gonna see $1 million liquidity amount before we reach even a few $1 million in market cap, and that's a huge plus for the project in itself, because this encourages a lot of whales to come in. And at the end of the day, whales like having exit liquidity, and then this encourages larger buys in. So I'm just really excited to see exactly what the dev ends up doing with the tokenomics, because there's so many different ways that this could evolve. It's only been close to 10 or 11 days since the project's been alive, and the community's just rallied strongly behind everything that the group is doing, and the dev in itself is just communicating with us more and more, and I can tell there's a lot of smart brains behind this. So what really makes us unique is the fact that we have a lot of liquidity, and then 50% of the marketing funds get re-injected back into liquidity as well. So you can tell that this token is really being built with the community in mind, and they want everyone who invests in this token to understand that if they do want to exit their positions, they're very well positioned to do so, and there's going to be no short of exit liquidity that'll prevent anyone from having any sort of issues with the token when it comes to taking profits in the future.
Appreciate that. Thank you. And for anyone who is a speaker, please feel free to pin a tweet in this space. If you don't know how to do that, Susie can describe how to do that for you. I don't think I've ever actually done it myself. But in the meantime, I'm just going to get into it because the last week has been a bit of a roller coaster, I think, for all of us in all of crypto, not just the DeFi space, but just the bigger crypto space. The collapse of Luna, questionable things are going on around stable coins in general. Is regulation coming, and a lot. We were already dealing, with rugs, with scams, with the kind of pump and dump culture, and this has just made everything that much harder. And all of your projects are projects that, at least so far, have made it for this last week, which in crypto land is, it might as well be a year. So, what can you talk a little bit about what you've done to ensure growth and sustainability? We usually talk about after launch and in the early days, but right now I'm kind of interested in what have you done over the last week? to make sure that you're staying around, that your communities stay around, that people aren't, running away from crypto out of fear. And this
Yeah,
is just open discussion. Anybody can comment.
with crypto
I'll,
now. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
all right.
No, I think go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll speak a little bit. So like what we focus on is really just keeping the investors and people informed in our spaces. That's really the best thing that we can do because the market's very iffy right now. Like we're definitely in some low areas for Bitcoin, and we don't know if this can extend out into September and October. So you have to be real careful because, um, especially like for larger, when you get larger, you want institutional investors that are coming into these tokens and feeling secure with their funds. So, especially MSB, like that's how we focus on education and making sure that most people are properly informed in how it works and how these markets are structured. I personally, I've been trading Bitcoin since 2013, and I'm fully retired off of crypto. That's all I do every day. I was never a dev before. I stepped in and took ownership of MSB, but now we're here, and so we're gonna do our best to keep everybody going and building an organic community. But you have to be very careful in this space. We see millions of dollars taken off these markets every day, and that's just, I believe, it's a lack of education and people that are properly informed of what's going on in these spaces. So we feel the utility there with MSB is a really strong, uh, uh, n- um, basically an asset to be involved in. Like I believe in energy, food, water, and education. Those are some of the most important things that what people need to live off of, and then strive to higher places with their lives and their community. So that's a big focus on what we're looking at, and really just keeping the news current and what's going on with everything.
Can I ask you a follow-up question? Because, I try to do my research for these spaces as well. I know that you personally also provide crypto education for folks. Do you think, because there seem to be a lot of differing opinions on this, do you think that understanding how to read charts and understanding the market is going to help folks even with the way that everything is operating right now? There just seem to be a lot more questions than answers, and it doesn't seem to be following, the cycles that historically have kind of ruled the way that this all operates.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of us are used to following stock to flow charts and waiting for Plan B's tweet to come out, or Michael Saylor to say he bought a dip, and we know a dip is coming after he buys. There's a lot of analytics that go on to following the markets, but some people know who I am, and they're in some of my private chats and see how we trade. And it doesn't matter if the market's green or red. There's money on the markets to be made. And TA and technical analysis is one of the different courses that we will offer to helping people learn. And I'm very humble guy. I'm usually quiet and I don't talk too much. I love trading and teaching and helping people grow and make money. That's what I like doing. I have a big passion for it. And because I'm retired in crypto, like that's all I focus on every day. That's my schedule. I get up, I trade, help everybody, and then go to sleep. And a couple business meetings here and there and phone conferences. But as long as you can understand, what basically, what technical analysis is, and you can look into Bitcoin and ETH, and then you go and start trading the alts. A lot of the traders I trade with, we trade leverage, so it's very dangerous. I always educate you to use stop losses, but we trade very heavily every day, and there's not usually a day that we're not making money in some of the chats we're involved in. So that's where like MSB was kind of hatched. Like we were all involved when the first dev rugged. He rugged it for like easily $150,000, and we were all left holding shares. And we're like, well, I mean, we've all traded together. Why don't we just relaunch this and we'll get liquidity back, and then we'll just slowly grow it. So that's what we believe in. The last project we did, Ozone, which we still own, and we're still working hard with it. We launched that one with $60,000 liquidity, and we walked the charts up to like 1.4 million in 5 days. Now it's come down to like around 100,000 on a retrace, which is natural. That's what charts do. and people they get scared when they see a chart like that. But the best answer is to go in there and educate yourself of who the devs are, what the community's like, how the project is being ran. Are the funds being used properly for people? And that's what you want to be focused on. And those are the investments you want to be invested in. And nothing, comes overnight. You see a lot of these coins, like we heard it talk about it tonight. They're pump and dumps, and a lot of these ones don't ever last. When you can come in here and you can invest and you can be like, hey, I know my money's going to be safe in there for 5 years, 8 years, 10 years down the road, because it's strong utility behind the projects and the teams that are involved in it. Those are the projects I try to lean more towards and focus my energy and my investments in. And I'm all about like helping different projects. I like getting partnerships and working with other groups and meeting new people in the space. There's a few traders like they'll fly. 'Cause I have offices out of Florida, some hedge funds, and then we just opened up a secondary branches out of North Carolina, out of USA. So we're kind of in the middle of running both of them right now on both ends. We have a team down there, and then I'm up in North Carolina setting up some other business with MSB and Ozone. So we try to just stay active in the community and always on top of the news, and that's what helps us keep moving our money around. Like we're always moving the money. It doesn't just stay put in one area. We don't sit there and hold it till the end of the life. We keep it moving, whether the market's green or red. But I don't want to talk too much for everybody. Like my DM is always open for anybody that ever wants to talk or listen or trade together. I'm all about it.
Thank you so much for that. And what I heard was that wealth can be created even in, some awful circumstances, and also that there's money to be made. So I think that's an important thing for, folks to walk away from. So thanks for that. And just as a reminder, the question was, with the rough market over the last week or so, what have you done with your projects or just in your own crypto trading, really to ensure that there's still growth, there's still sustainability.
I can touch on that, what we've been doing. So we always give the community, well, actually, we're doing very good since launch. We went on launch day up to a 660K market cap. Then over the weekend, we faded down to around 198K market cap. And then Monday morning, we decided to sweep the floor some, gave the community an opportunity to DCA on their own bags if they wanted to. We swept the floor a little bit, started buying back, and then we ran up to around a 880K market cap, fell back down to 700K, 600K range. We bought it up again, pumped up again to 800K, and now we're sitting around 500K market cap. And we always buy the floor, even if we have to spend our own money. We'll buy the floor up just to keep the volume going, keep the chart going alive. So that's what we've been doing during these hard times in the market. We've been having to pay out of our pocket and buy the floor if we have to. We burn some tokens off the blockchain to increase value of your holding and value in the market cap. So like last night we was at a 650K market cap. We burned point five no point yeah 0.52% of tokens, and it increased the market cap by 30K just from that. So that's what we've been doing to keep our token going during these hard times. And also, would you mind bringing up Lion to speak on the behalf of Shiba Doge Predator if we can get room for another speaker?
Sure, Susie, can you try to find Lion?
Yep,
And
I'm
I
looking right now.
thanks for that explanation. Actually, I have been watching the chart um, for the last few days or so, and I have noticed that the price has been fairly stable for this market. So I think it's a great learning opportunity for those listening and the other projects. As far as how to kind of maintain, some faith in the project for those people that have already invested, and
Yeah,
for those that might be afraid to be a new investor.
we're not gonna let it dip hard. We may let it dip a little bit just to let new people get a new entry, but we're gonna sweep that floor when it dips. We're gonna keep that token going because We want to turn this vision into a reality. We want to make this dream happen for people. We want people to be a part of 1,000x, 2,000x, 3,000x, something that people dream of being a part of. So we've been, have the community chilling. We haven't been paying influencers because we don't want influencers pumping and dumping on us like we've noticed they've done in the past with other projects. And actually, some of them have gave a little pushback. Um, I've been in crypto for a long time, and this may just be me going on a little rant, but I did get some Shiba Inu before it came on Coinbase just because of everybody doing everything for it and stuff. But then after that, that's kind of when I stepped into I was like, let me see what's going on in this side of the space. And you can make some good, fast money in this side of the space. But honestly, after, becoming, knowledgeable of these YouTuber influencers, of how much they're charging, how much they're getting paid, a majority of them were made off of Shiba Inu, and now they're kind of abusing that because they've gained a following because of it. And they're charging these projects ridiculous money, getting free tokens. They're like, I need a 1% wallet, this or this. And to be honest with you, it kind of breaks my heart. It doesn't make me feel like that's what crypto is. It doesn't make me feel like that's what crypto is. And that's why we've decided to do this, because we want to give people an opportunity to be a part of something amazing, not just because this influencer is pumping this token and then just going to use his following for exit liquidity. That's not what we want here. We want to do this for the community. We want to do this for the space. We want to bring back the original culture to the space on what it was. Like Shiba Inu was so much fun. Just going on all the chat sites, everybody just loving it, digging it. No one was paid. And the early days in the Discord, the guy on the VC just hanging out, Yeah, I'm just working on making the Shiba Inu dream come true. And then one day he disappeared, and sure enough, the dream came true. That's what crypto is making dreams come true, getting those crazy gains. And a lot of the tokens that are still around and alive, people who bought early, those early investors, have been rewarded with generational wealth. And that's something we want to push and do, not just a guy pumping and dumping this token on a YouTube. We're not going to overpromise. We're not going to say we're doing this utility that's never going to work. We're not going to overpromise the community. Maybe one day we'll have a cool utility that comes out, but we're not going to overpromise to the community because we don't want to let our community down. We want to do one thing for our community, and that is to bring back the culture of crypto and create generational wealth one day from our project. But I'll let Lion touch on it some if he got brought up to speak. Lion, you want to raise your hand? Is he still even in here?
I don't see. I
Chris,
don't
Chris,
see him.
Chris
Yeah, he's in here.
Lion.
I invited
Yeah,
him. I invited him to speak.
let me drop him a DM.
Okay, that was really well said. And the only thing I would add to what you said is I don't even know that we would be bringing back any culture because this is all still really so very new. But I think what you're doing is really building a foundation, and adding to what was already there, and that people that's going to draw people in. That's going to draw people that aren't already here in, and is going to keep them here.
For
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the point we were making earlier, right? Probably there's going to be a lot more people who will eventually feel the same way, feeling like they're tired of chasing what might be the next best thing, because maybe they're hearing from all the wrong sources saying that this utility is groundbreaking, that technology is groundbreaking, we're over here curing cancer, and being let down to then find themselves back at square one. And guess who's going to be square one? It'll be us, the projects that are fighting for the preservation of what always worked. And I guess that's the saying that goes, why fix what's not broken, right? And I think that's the heart behind what we're building here.
Thank you for that. Holder, I do see you had your hand up for a sec before. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, thanks. So the MetaGochi project, they're involving the community to retain a core group of holders, and it's holding a floor between 400 and 500K market. But they're taking the community suggestions into account. They're tweaking the project as needed, and they're in support of me and my YouTube channel, Holder Hold. I have 12 videos on that where I'm giving lots of information. So if anyone wants to, be sure to check that out. And the lead developer has actually announced today that they've worked out all the tweaks of the hatching event, and they're going to be releasing the date tomorrow of when you can hatch all these eggs that people have been obtaining. And they're also in support of it's a token giveaway. It's called the MetaGochi Race to 10K Holders giveaway, and we're almost at 4K holders, and so we're actually 19 holders away from our very first milestone. And each 1,000 holders gained, there's going to be MetaGochi tokens given away. And there's a stipulation that you cannot sell any of your tokens throughout the contest in order to be a winner. And I feel like that's really keeping a core group of people as investors in MetaGochi. And we're once this hatching event happens, which is going to be announced tomorrow, we're going to really go for our marketing push. The team has been holding off on marketing because they wanted to release an unbroken product. There's been some issues, so there's been some delays with the hatching event, but they've reassured us today that everything has been finalized, double checked, and they're going to make this special announcement. I'm pretty excited. So I feel like open communication is very important to keep people in the project as well as support community involvement.
Thank you. Go ahead, X.
Perfect. And firstly, I want to start off by saying it's been a really good conversation here so far. Everyone's giving some very powerful and strong insights. To answer your first question, I think right now the most important thing, especially during this volatile time, is keeping your community accountable. So I myself, I'm running two projects right now. Kango is something that just essentially, drew everyone in, and this is going to go back to the Shiba conversation where like we really do feel like we're building something very, very special here because everyone who wants to be here was drawn in. Like no one's being forced to be here. The community members, the mods, myself, Base Pleb, Fibonacci, Pallet Jacker, like all these guys were just drawn in, and it's just very cool, unique story. And even the community themselves, like the way that the story is being told, it's very, very like I don't want to sound corny, but there's a certain level of mysticism and like mystery and like almost like a fairy tale being drawn here, and it really really feels like something special is being created. And I myself, like I've been in the primarily I'm from the traditional finance space. I've been in equities and options for 10 years. I got into crypto about 4 or 5 years ago. And what I find in that is like bear markets are actually the best time to have extreme wealth created. And that's regardless of, anyone investing into the projects that we're talking about on the space. But I'm talking just even buying Bitcoin or any of the top 10, 15 tokens, buying it at a very good price right now because these prices that we're seeing, especially with ETH, like $2,000, like that's a bargain and a half. Like in the next 4 or 5 years, the entire ecosystem is just blowing up more and more. And all you got to do is just look at ETH 12 months ago versus now. Like even in a bear market, we're having spaces like this where close to 60 people are tuning in on a weekday when we've had one of the bloodiest weeks we've had this year, and that just goes to show you the robustness of the ecosystem where projects are just being born and being built and nurtured every single day. So the number one thing during these times is to keep your community accountable, whether that be even writing a simple message in the chat, and having the community understand that like, hey, that the leaders behind the project are constantly working, doing VCs, doing spaces such as this, and just making sure that you're present because it during these times that you actually need to use to build, and when you build and build and build when times are tough, when the bull market comes back, which it 100% will. I know for some of you this could very well be your very first bear market, and that can be a very scary thing. This is me personally, my fourth bear market, so I'm almost unfazed by it because I've been through so many crashes before, and every single time, it just comes back roaring extremely aggressively. And now with things like regulation being talked about, things like more and more eyeballs appearing on crypto, like for a lot of you for us, like we're in North America. Super Bowl, the Super Bowl, I like to use as a great example because this year we had the highest amount of ad spend on crypto during the Super Bowl. You have guys like LeBron James, Kyle Irving getting paid millions of dollars to appear on crypto.com ads. So that just goes to show you that the robustness of the space is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is sort of where Web3 is just evolving. And I feel like I'm aging myself here, like I'm in my 30s. So back in the 2000s when Web2 was really coming into play, and companies like Amazon and Facebook and Google were being created, and then all of a sudden you have 2010 and above, and it's these mega companies running the world. Web3 is going through that exact same transformation right now on crypto and on the blockchain. Like all these ecosystems that are being built, all these different chains, whether that be Ethereum or AVAX or Solana, companies are being built, startups are being built, and what's happening right now is you're having called a filtering of the space, where the projects that are supposed to last are going to last as long as you have teams behind these projects that don't give up. There's a lot of work that's required in crypto. It's a 24/7 market. Bear markets are honestly and truly the best time, and this you can compare this to the traditional stock market as well. When you have traditional crashes, whether that be on the S&P or the Nasdaq falling, you buy at the bottom and you hold. That's what happens. I always tell people, don't watch the 15, 20-minute charts. Just zoom out, look at the daily charts, look at the monthly charts, and that's when you see the longer term trend, and that puts you at ease. I know that the whole situation with Luna and the depegging was a very difficult time for a lot of people, and it can be scary because you're seeing billions of dollars being wiped out of these very large tokens, and it's causing a lot of fear in the space. But this is the time to triple down and build. It's the time to triple down and make sure that you're investing into qualified projects with teams with a solid base, with teams that want to do the work, because a lot of people are going to get shaken out, and this is also shakeout season, because now crypto Twitter itself is a little bit quiet, but there's still people working in the background. So it's very important to be cautious, but also great time to invest into blue chips, great time to pick up some ETH, pick up some Solana, pick up some Bitcoin, and hold, because we're going to be looking back 2-3 years from now, even 4, and we're going to be at a massive market cap that's going to be in the multi-trillions. Just to give a quick comparison, the traditional stock market, the global market cap is worth 100 trillion. Crypto is touching 1 to 1.2 trillion. That's only 1%. And crypto, there's no barriers to entry. You can literally open up a crypto account from anywhere across the world. You can go buy fractions of a Bitcoin, fractions of Ethereum. You cannot do that with traditional stocks. So right now we're in such a massive hyper growth stage of how crypto is evolving. And this is sort of where, you want to be investing into teams that are based, teams that are doing the research, teams that have a good head on their shoulders, because those are the types of teams that are going to come out of this bear market very aggressively. And when the bull market does come back, they're going to be extremely well positioned to take advantage of the gains, because then all of a sudden, when you have the traditional retail come back into the industry and start looking at, hey, wait a minute, like what are the projects that have actually been working and doing the work? When you're going to have a history, you're going to have a storyline told in the Telegram chat, in the Twitter, and you're gonna have everything sort of recorded, and they're gonna be able to invest into a team that worked throughout the bear market to then feel confidence in investing into a project that they know that their money is going to be safe. So as scary as the bear markets are, I personally take this as a great building opportunity, and this is sort of where, again, not financial advice, but buying right now is actually a good time, especially in the blue chips, because things are going to come back. They always do. It's just how markets work. It's just how the nature of business works. And it's also just how life works to a certain extent. When things get rough, you don't stop. You have to keep working, keep going. And this is essentially what causes people to succeed, regardless of what area of crypto they're in. And that's just sort of, my 2 cents on the questions you asked for, April.
Axe has spoken. Thank you. And you took the words right out of my head. I think I tweeted last week, just as I was thinking, because, just like everybody else, I had a lot of questions, and I think definitely a little bit of fear crept in. But this really is the time when wealth is made, when millionaires are made, for those people that, are bold enough to make those decisions. So that zoom out mentality, I think we all need to remind ourselves of that every once in a while. And speaking of zooming out, I just wanted to recognize Shuna for a second, because as I'm looking at everybody, I think you guys are our veteran project here. So how have you made it this long?
We actually launched in November, and it was November 10th when we launched V1, and it had a token inflection project. And we didn't really want just people getting tokens, because tokens doesn't really do anything. I mean, especially if you don't hold big and you're not getting a big amount of reflections off of tokens, So we wanted to do something bigger for our community. We wanted to give them more for being a community holder. This is why we fork it into the V2, which is the ETH reflection token. We launched that on December 10th. We had a very nice push. We had heavy marketing. We did apply and we did get on Lbank, Hotbit, BKEX, MetaMask, and we're still applying for more exchanges. What really, and I'll be honest with you guys, what really helped Shuna and has kept Shuna alive, other than I guess me, but also our community. Our community is pretty badass. I mean, you go in there and everybody in there is friendly. Everybody is there. They're nice investor. Our top wallets, they all have like understanding with each other, and they pretty much hold with me the floor of the Shuna community because we all know the big potential that we have to pretty much take it and go above the next level. And if you look back in crypto, like the general was saying earlier, of how big crypto is expanding, from 1 trillion to 3 to 5 to eventually it's going to skyrocket because we only have I think it was like 6% of the world or 5% use crypto. So can you imagine when it becomes bigger and how the market's gonna just keep going up? So with Shuna and with the amount of, I guess I want to say supply holders, exchanges, and our top holders, we've been really holding really well. And even with two bearish markets, even with ETH dipping, we've held and we've continued to keep working. Me, my team, every day we're growing, we're expanding, bringing on new people and the community. You can't have a successful project without a community. And what the community really likes is a transparent team that's actually working nonstop for that community. Because at the end of the day, when they're investing into a project, they're actually investing inside the dev, not the project itself. And I don't want to jinx myself, but if you go into a Telegram of Tuna and you ask about me to anyone in the community, they'll all have positive things to say, and that's how we've kept it fund free, open. Anyone can come in and uh, talk, express their feelings, and just give any advices. I'm open minded to whatever can help the project succeed. Um, we've been through hell with the tuna community and just the market of how it's going, but we've held really strong, and we're gonna keep pushing. You know, Shiba didn't happen in a day. Shiba launched and it had its biggest issues with the big whales holding that couldn't sustain the floor, and after I believe it was like 400 days of pushing back and forth, Shiba is where it is at now, and same thing goes for Floki and Saitama and just all of these big projects. They don't happen in a day. Believe it or not, sometimes it takes 6 to 12 months to establish a successful project. The first couple of months, which is the first to third month, is the most critical and crucial because if you can't sustain the project during those time periods, you won't have a project at all. And luckily, we've kept it with our word and we've kept pushing out utilities. And if you go on the Shuna's utility, when we launched as an NFT project, only an NFT project. You go on our website, you go on our Telegram, you look at our utilities and all of the projects underneath us, they're just every day increasing and increasing because we keep expanding and adding more into our ecosystem.
Thank you for that. God, we have really some brilliant minds here, and I really appreciate everybody's thoughts on that question because it really has been a rough time, and it's definitely kind of reignited, my excitement in what is to be, for the future, especially. And I'm just looking at the time here. We do usually go about an hour, and I know that there might be some folks from the listeners who might want to come up and speak. I just want to give the projects a quick opportunity. If you want to make any announcements, if you want to take advantage of, a good amount of people that are listening, please feel free.
Um, Lion, you want to go ahead and touch on the project some, and also announcement coming up. We're doing a massive buy and a massive burn at a $1 million market cap. It'll actually be a deflationary burn because those tokens are burned off the blockchain. So get ready for that. But go ahead, Lion.
Hey, what's up, guys? So everyone else on the team did a really good job of explaining what we're doing, but I'll just kind of reiterate some things. Um, we all went through an awful April, right? So anyone that went through a bad April and got rugged, go ahead and throw some emojis up there. And all of us went through that as well, and it was terrible. And on top of that, we're in a bear market too. So we came together. We wanted to put out a project that is safe for everyone, and we came up with this dream that we're all trying to make a reality for everybody. Um, so this is what we came up with, and um, I mean, I don't really know what else to say other than everyone else hit on it pretty hard. But uh, you can pop in the chat with us, and we're all available pretty much around the clock. You can DM us, and we're available. We pop in voice chat constantly. One thing that we're doing with this project is, compared to the other projects, is that um, a ton of them before they launch, they get all these influencers and callers to call it, and then that's all they're trying to do is pump it up, and so they pay all these people. So we're not trying to pay anybody, honestly, and we haven't yet. So any calls that we've gotten have been free, and it's all organic. And we are trying to do this from the ground up, do it right, do it with conviction, um, and we just have a solid team behind it all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Holder, I see you've got your hand up.
Yes, thanks. So I actually have a couple announcements that I just wanted to shoot out there. So the development team actually surprised us. So there's going to be a marketplace in the DApp where you can buy and sell your NFT creatures. But they recently released this information, and we're super stoked about it as a community. So these NFT creatures are going to be listed on OpenSea, which is pretty awesome for the project. We're really excited about that. And they also recently told us about farmland. So farmland is like a piece of land that you're going to be able to buy, and people can rent based on your farmland. And the land will be able to host, I believe it was 10 creatures, and lower level creatures that are hanging out on this land will be able to evolve, I guess passively, I guess you could say. So you can play these games to evolve your creatures, or you can basically pay to evolve, which is a neat aspect for those who don't have the time or want to put in the effort to evolve their creatures. And then I have one more announcement. So the lead developer, through the moderator, we've been in contact, and I think I can probably officially announce now that I'm going to be having a live interview with the lead developer of the project. And I've already sent in some questions so that he can prepare, and he's going to answer a lot of those on my YouTube channel, Hold or Hold. So for lots of information, I'm just going to redirect you guys again to my channel, Hold or Hold. Tons of information. I don't want to take up too much time, but I wanted to point out those few things.
Thank you very much for that. Axe, I see you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So two numbers I want to talk about: 57% and 163,000. The 57% is our liquidity to market cap ratio. It's been 11 days since we've launched. The 163,000 is how much liquidity that we have in this project. This is a huge, huge deal because you have, as I mentioned earlier, you have projects that are in the millions without having this much exit liquidity. And then the third thing is there's going to be a fresh new site that's being made. And the dev has taken it upon himself to offer to do more buybacks as well. So this is just built into the contract. There's something very special being built here. The entire community is just gathering around. The mob is what we're calling ourselves, and the Bungie is technically leading the mob, and then Uncle, which is the main dev. Stick around for the story, guys. Just join our group. You don't even have to buy. Just join our TG and just watch the story unfold. I think this is going to be something very special to just kind of see being created in crypto, because everybody that wants to be here is being here because they want to, not because they're forced to. Like, we're all being drawn in. It's like a weird magnet that everyone's being drawn into. So, even if you don't want to buy, just jump into the TG for the story, because I think it's gonna be a really cool story. And the numbers that I'm dropping, like these numbers, we can't make these numbers up. Like the exit liquidity and the ratio to market cap is is it's nothing like I've ever seen before. Like this contract is very, very something very special, and I just can't wait to see where the story unfolds.
Yeah, I'd like to say just one more part too. Our liquidity too. I just checked it. We have 208K in the liquidity pool, and we have a $510,000 market cap. So our liquidity pool is actually slightly over 50% compared to our market cap, which is very good. But one day, unless we get on exchanges, once we get on exchanges, it won't matter. But one day when we do get a lot of holders, I know it is hard to hold. I know once people start holding a lot of the supply, when you're only on Uniswap, that's when that liquidity pool only becomes an issue. But there usually isn't an issue because it's constantly trading in and out. But thank y'all for taking the time out your day to host us tonight. And thank you for everybody in the audience for being here. And thank you, Kay, for inviting us on last minute. I really appreciate it. I just want to thank everybody for y'all's time tonight.
Thank you very much. Did anybody else want to make any announcements? I do want to open up the floor just for a couple of minutes if anybody from the audience wants to speak as well.
I'll say one more thing before we continue, because
Yes.
I know there's a lot of people that want to open questions, but I would like to. Our community is blessing me. They want us to give a call out to Japa calls, and they wanted to talk a little bit about the 1,000 NFTs. So we do have 1,000 NFTs launching on Monday, not this Monday, the upcoming Monday, that people can buy them, stake them, earn money for staking them. And if you pull up a mythic NFT, you win 5 ETH automatically sent to your wallet. There are 3 mythics in the 1,000. Each tier has a different pay. So each tier that you stake will give you a different percentage, earning back tokens to your wallet. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. So much bullish news from all of these projects. Crypto is certainly not dead. Um, if anybody from the audience wants to request to speak, please feel free to do so right now. I don't want to keep us going for too much longer, but we could definitely make time for a couple of questions or comments if anybody wants to come up. And while we're waiting for that, I do want to make a little bit of an announcement ourselves for the DeFi Angels. We focused on these Twitter spaces on meme madness as a theme for the last couple of months, and it's been awesome. We've had a lot of great projects come up and talk with us. And I think going forward, we really do want to broaden these discussions to include not only memes. I mean, don't worry, memes are here to stay as far as we're concerned, but also non-meme projects. So look out for Token Talk. We're going to be moving this to Thursday nights. Monday night seems to be a really popular time to launch, so we didn't want to pull people away from trying to make that money. But please, if you haven't already uh, followed and liked DeFi Angels and our tweets, definitely find us on Twitter. Take a look at our website, defiangels.com, and look out for many, many more discussions like this. As you can see, we have some new projects, some older projects. We like to kind of have a mix, let everybody learn from each other. And this has been a really, really great spaces. I'm not seeing anybody asking to come up. So I will just take this opportunity to thank all of our guests. Um, so we had, and just as a quick recap, we had Shuna, Kango, Magic School Bus, MetaGochi, and ShibaDogePredator. I do want to thank Susie for making sure that everything is working in the background here. Thank you, Kay, again, always for everything that you do. And yeah, we'll see you again soon.
One
Have a good
one
rest of
moment.
the week.
Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead,
Oh
Kay.
my goodness, my phone. No, I just wanted to say really quickly. I really do want to just shout out Tuna Dev. He's a really amazing dev. He's an amazing person. He saved a community not too long ago. And it just makes me really want to want to be committed to Shuna and their community. And of course, I don't have as much time on my hands as I would like. But I do appreciate him so much for what he did recently. And there are just a lot of people that are on this spaces that I respect and I appreciate. But yeah, definitely what one voice, it's like the marketing arm of Shuna, and there's a few of the One Voice members here. Marco and Jesse Escalante. and of course, Amy, from Shuna as well. So I just wanted to say that because they're really important and they're really helping. They're aligned with DeFi Angels as far as in making the space, improving the space and making it safer for people to invest. So I wanted to shout them out, for that reason. And Moby really does help. I am in one of his, private groups. He really does educate people. So yeah, just wanted to just say I appreciate everyone that's in this space that's doing what we want to do as well and helping. I appreciate all of you all and thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Kay. I second everything you said, and I love that we're having a little kumbaya moment here. Really appreciate that. And there's hope, there's money to be made. We are all going to make it as long as we stick around. So thank you, everybody. Have a good Monday night, whatever's left of it. And we will all see each other soon.